Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you all had a good night tonight. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make prize picks videos, all that good stuff. All these videos that get posted on the subreddit. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate, pretty much anything you need. I'll have this link down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me, sorry, I just wanted to see who that was. If you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. So let's get to my lineups from tonight. Going to be a profitable night overall. We're getting a showdown. I guess main slate already paid out. It did. So I made a swap before lock. I played for Jared Butler starting, and he did not get the start, unfortunately. So I was like, okay, do I keep Jared Butler off the bench, who I still thought was firmly in play, and get off Vucevic, or do I make the swap? And I thought, Butler's probably going to be a bit over-owned. So I made the swap. He was 20% owned. So I made the swap from Vooch, Butler to Jordan Poole and Alex Caruso. Didn't end up working out, but I felt it was the right swap. I believe the Vooch one did a bit better. I mean, Vooch crossed the slate. He was a core play for me. My core today was Tyrese Maxey, Nikola Vucevic, Jonas Valanciunas, and I told everyone to get to at least one other Chicago guy. All the Chicago guys smashed outside of DeMar DeRozan. So yeah, main slate didn't go as good. Finally buying into Poole. I finally play Poole because Jared Butler doesn't start and he gets benched. But when he's chalked the other slate, which one was it? I forget which one. He dropped like 45. But yeah, main slate didn't go great, but showdown went pretty well. I felt like the lineup was just really obvious. My showdown core was Jalen Brunson, Harrison Barnes, and Domantas Sabonis, core smash. So yeah, it felt pretty easy there. So actually was a profitable night overall, but not much. I believe, $100 in entries on main slate, not that much on showdown. So slight profit, I believe. So let's get into slate. Boston at Washington. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to wait for this news. There's going to be potentially a lot of really good. I mean, there already will be a lot of really good plays here, but there could potentially just be like a value, like where you're jamming just a ton of Boston value, right? So if Tatum and Brown play, I really like both going up against Washington, but there's definitely a lot of lower risk here. Washington, they're really bad, but like, yeah, Porzingis, Whiteout in a really good matchup going up against Washington. I think Tatum and Brown definitely stand out. I think they're both really good plays, even at their price points. They're going to have to do a lot more. It's one of the best matchups in the league. No White as well. White's been a higher usage player this season of late. He's been way higher usage than a guy like Drew Holiday, so that helps as well. We obviously know Porzingis. He's high usage, so yeah, if they're both in, I like both quite a bit. I think Drew Holiday is solid point per dollar at 6.6K as well. He's going to have to do a bit more. He's going to play big minutes. He's going to stuff the stat sheet. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more with no White. His potentials are going to go up. I like him quite a bit. Al Horford, you guys know, he's very safe. Stat sheet stuffer, can do a bit of everything. I think I prefer Drew straight up, but I still think Al Horford's a pretty good play. Really good matchup for him. Sam Hauser, I think, is a solid value. Pritchard, firmly in play. Cornette will probably play a bit more. They'll probably go with the starting lineup if everyone's in. Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, Jason Tatum, Al Horford. That's 5, right? Drew, Brown, Hauser, Tatum, Horford. Yeah, that's what I said. So that'll probably be the lineup. So like I said, really like Hauser for value. Horford, Drew, Tatum, Brown, all look really good. Pritchard will have to play a bit more. If you're playing for blowout, Pritchard will play in a blowout. He could absolutely crush. Now, 4.6K is definitely priced right for his role coming off at the bench, but still firmly in play. And then Luke Cornette, he'll get run. And yeah, I don't know if I touch like any of these other values if they're both in, but if they're both out, I mean, Drew Holiday is going to be one of the best plays in the slate. I would absolutely love him. Would really like Al Horford. Would really like Hauser. Would really like Pritchard. Luke Cornette. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup, but they could go like start Cornette. He would be one of the best value plays in the slate. O'Shea Brissett would probably play a lot more. He's at the flat min price. How much has he been playing of late? Not much. But he'd have to be in the rotation. Springer will have to be in the rotation. It's really just going to be a wait and see approach. As always, I'll make updates on Reddit, but there's going to be a ton to like here for Boston tomorrow. Definitely one of the best teams to target on the slate as the slate stands right now. So if you play Denny tonight, I feel for you. I really don't understand what that was. Just unbelievable. So we'll have to see who's available for the Wizards tomorrow. If we get a situation where everyone's in, then I would assume, I don't know if we got news yet. Last time I checked, 10 minutes ago, we didn't have any news. I always try to keep up with this while we're doing the videos. Okay, so questionable, Norm Powell, Chetty Osman. Yeah, it looks like we don't have news. So I would assume Bagley would be on some type of limit if he comes back. And then it's obviously, it's going to take, Rashawn Holmes out of play for me. It's going to hurt guys like Kyle Kuzma. It's going to be one more body in the rotation. If Tyus is in and Denny are in, I mean, there's not much that's going to stand out to me on this team. Everyone's priced up, going up against Boston. Really tough matchup, blowout risk. So there would not be much at all if everyone's in. I guess my favorite play would be Kuzma or Tyus Jones. But yeah, not much here. Everyone just, Poole, if he goes back to the bench, he's been playing a lot better off the bench. I guess maybe him, but yeah, wouldn't love too much here. And there's a lot of pretty disgusting slate here, to be honest. Cool. Volley's 5.2K. I just can't pay that price with everyone in. Now, if everyone's out and we get a similar situation that happened tonight, happens tomorrow, then yeah, I think, Rashawn Holmes is going to be a solid value of 4.6K. He got into massive foul trouble tonight and then didn't come back because of the blowout that goes with Eugene Aurier. But he'd be a solid value. I think they need him out there for a ton of minutes. Kispert, he's going to have to play pretty much the entire game in a competitive game. Even at this price point, he'd be firmly in play, has a ceiling. Cool. Bale, he's going to play a ton of minutes, have a bit more usage. They're all priced up, but they'd all be still firmly in play for me. Not priorities or anything, but fine filler plays. Jordan Poole, he got benched tonight, but if he starts again, I definitely have some interest. But like his ceiling in GPPs, and then Kuzma would be the go-to guy and have to do absolutely everything for this team if it stays close. It's probably going to be a big game for Kuzma. Butler would be a viable value, but I would rank that Boston value ahead of him. I don't know if I got anyone else. I think my favorite play from this team, if everyone's out, is honestly probably, and then Bale would be fine. Honestly, probably Rashawn Holmes at 4.6K. So yeah, they priced everyone up. It's pretty disgusting. All right, moving on to Toronto. So RJ Barrett obviously is going to continue to be out. Chris Boucher is out. So last game, they went with the starting lineup of Emmanuel Quickley, Gary Trent Jr., Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, and Kelly Olynyk. So, Bruce Brown played 30 minutes off the bench. Kelly Olynyk got in a massive foul trouble, and then we know Quickley is going to be their go-to guy and have to absolutely do everything for this team. So with that being said, not a good matchup here going up against Orlando, but I still like Quickley quite a bit at 8.5K. In competitive game, he's going to play close to 40 minutes. He's going to have to absolutely do everything for this team. So I'm still pretty high on Quickley, even at 8.5K. Kelly Olynyk, I think, is solid point per dollar. No RJ Barrett. He's going to be relied on a bit more offensively as well. He's a guy that can facilitate and do everything in a lot of different ways. He's going to have to play big minutes. He fouled out in 26 minutes last game. His potentials are up. So I still do like Kelly Olynyk at 6.7K. Gary Trent at 5'9", he's just going to be a black hole. He's going to shoot the ball 20 plus times. He has this type of ceiling. This is kind of a similar situation to like when Fred VanVleet was on this team, but obviously a few years later, where Gary Trent, when people are out, he's just going to shoot the ball 20 plus times. So still have interest in Trent at 5.9K just because the ceiling is massive with all these players out. He's going to be their number 2 on offense. So definitely still of interest. I'd rather play him over Bruce Brown coming off the bench. Grady Dick at 4.9K, I think is priced right. Jonte Porter, I'll continue to mention him as a viable value. He got extended because of Kelly Olynyk fouling out, but not a bad point per minute guy that's probably going to see around high teens minutes, so playable value if you do need it. Ochai Agbaji, he'll see around 30 minutes. It's doable. He's not going to do anything while he's on the court, but if you do need a cheap option, it's definitely viable in GPPs. And then with everyone out, you're going to see a bit of run for Nwora, a bit of run for McDaniels, but I don't know if it's going to be necessary to go to either of them. All right, moving on to Orlando. Probably, outside of Boston, I think another pretty good team to target here. So with that being said, I'm pretty high on Wendell Carter Jr., sub 6K. His minutes have actually been pretty secure of late. Earlier in the year, he was only like some games he would play 30 plus, some games he would only play like 20 minutes. It's good to see that he's getting, around 28 minutes per game right now. It's a really good matchup here going up against Toronto. So yeah, I do like Wendell Carter Jr. at 5.7K. I wish he was still in that like 5.3K range, but yeah, I mean, he's gone for 30, 31, 39, over 30 fantasy points back to back to back games. So good point per minute guy, about a fantasy point per minute guy. You continue to give him around 30 minutes. He's going to be a solid play. So do like Wendell Carter Jr. there. I want to say they went with Mo Wagner. No, they went. I feel like they went with Mo Wagner back up 5, but I'm pretty sure they've been going with Jonathan Isaac back up 5. I can just confirm. I had all the rotations up, but my memory is really, really bad. Mo's getting some. I think Isaac's getting some. I think that's what's happening. If no other value opens up, I mean, I don't hate Jonathan Isaac at 4.1K. Now, I'm going to like the Boston value probably more, but he's been seeing around 20 minutes. His minutes have been upticking of late. He's a really good point per minute guy. So if he continues to get around 20 minutes, it does make him a solid value at this price point. So yeah, I don't mind Isaac for value if you do need it. With the guards healthy, Suggs is going to get the bulk of the minutes. I think he's priced right, but he does have a ceiling. Still more of a contrarian play for me, and then, kind of like Cole, Fultz, they'll play off the bench, but I don't know if they're going to play enough minutes for me to consider either of them. And I'd rather play Isaac over them probably, and then I like Franz and I like Paolo. It's a really, really good spot for Franz here. He should play those 30 minutes. Him, Paolo, highest usage player on this team. I think with the price points given, I do prefer Franz to Paolo. So yeah, I do like Franz quite a bit tomorrow. I don't know if I go to anyone else though. All right, moving on to Brooklyn. So I had Claxton fantasy score today, and he hooked. He just did not come back in the fourth. But normally in a competitive game, you're going to see around 30 minutes for Claxton, like the spot here. So I'm intrigued by Claxton GPPs. Clearly, it's the ceiling. So I'm intrigued there. I would say he's probably price right, but still intrigued. I do like Cam Thomas quite a bit. It's just a minutes thing. Lost a ton of minutes due to blowout. In a competitive game, he is playing close to 40 minutes right now. I know the whole team's healthy, but he is a guy that is going to chuck when he's out there. So Cam Thomas continues to be my favorite play on this team. Mikal, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Mikal Bridges. If you want to buy low, that's fine. I'd rather just play Cam Thomas. Schroeder at 6.4K seems priced right to me, but stat sheet stuff are pretty safe. I would say he's probably a bit overpriced with everyone back. Cam Johnson is a bit overpriced. Hard to go there. And then Dorian Finney-Smith, playable value, but I'd probably prefer that Boston value that we talked about. Don't know if I go to anyone else. Moving on to the Spurs here. So Wemby, I mean, we don't have a ton of spend-up options on this slate. So, Wemby going to be a good option. I prefer Tatum, probably, but Wemby always going to be a good spend-up. Minutes slowly upticking. 33 last game, just had a bit of a floor outcome. Good shot blocker. Going to get you a double-double probably. His assist rates have been up as well. So, yeah, Wemby, pretty good spend up there. Guy I do like tomorrow is Devin Vassell. I don't think people are starting to realize that the Spurs are playing Devin Vassell as many minutes as he can handle. He's been playing 40 minutes pretty much every single game. So 7.3K, price came down because he's had pretty bad games, but you don't have to go too far back to see what he's been doing with the minutes given. So, yeah, I like Devin Vassell quite a bit for GPPs tomorrow as a bounce back candidate. Probably my second favorite play on this team, first favorite play outside of Wemby. Sochan, Trey Jones, these two guys, they kind of look similar to me at their price points. Good to see Trey Jones' minutes up of late, though. He's been playing like low 20s minutes before, but 33, 32, 32 there. So I guess I probably prefer Trey Jones to Sochan. What else? Keldon, I do like. 30 minutes off the bench at 5.5K, I think is reasonable. Good point per minute guy that's going to run the offense with the second unit. Clearly has a ceiling. Price point's down, so don't mind Keldon there. I think he's fine. I don't know if I go to much else here, though. You're going to see some Brandham in the rotation. You're going to like Champagny. I guess his minutes have been up. I actually don't mind him for value as well. Before he was basically spot starting, only playing like a shift in the first, shift in the second. If we take a look at the rotation here for the Spurs last game, they've been playing him decent minutes, and it's been multiple games now. So I do not mind Julian for value at all. So it'll kind of depend on what his ownership is for me, on if I play him or not, and what other value opens up with Boston. Because like if Tatum and Brown are out, you just want to slam Boston value. Like not even consider anyone else really. Like all the Boston value would just be the best value plays on the slate, right? All right, moving on to Atlanta. So everyone's healthy outside of Onyeka Okongwu. Looks like we're going to have Bogdanovic back. I still like DeJounte Murray at 9.8K just because the usage rate. Not a good matchup. Ton of blowers here going up against the Clippers. Like if he's a guy that's going to be popular tomorrow, I guess you could get away with fading. But yeah, still do like DeJounte quite a bit. Similar price point to Tatum. It's tied. Probably rather prefer Tatum in a good matchup going up against Washington, but yeah, if DeJounte is going to be a lot lower owned, sure, you can go there. I still think he's a really solid spend up at 9.8K. So pretty high on DeJounte there. Jalen Johnson, his first game back, played 35 minutes. Good rebounder. He also has double-double upside. I would say it's 7.5K in this matchup going up against the Clippers. Makes him firmly in play. Someone I'd be fine just landing as like a filler play. I do prefer him to Bogdanovic out there in close in price points. I think Jalen Johnson is just the better play in my opinion. And then Clint Capella at 6.5K. I don't know if Bruno got into foul trouble. I don't think he did. Played 32 minutes last game. He's probably getting to the price point where he should be. But still a fine filler play to me. DeAndre Hunter with everyone back, with Bogdanovic back as well. Should see around 30 minutes. He's probably priced right. So everyone's priced up here. I'm not going to play Vit Krejci. You couldn't pay me to play the Matthews. So, yeah. All right, moving on to the Clippers. So obviously a phenomenal spot here going up against Atlanta. One guy I'm pretty high on here is Zubac, especially if one of the main guys is out, or especially if Harden's out. But he should play 30 minutes anyway, 5.6K, good matchup. He's probably my favorite mid-tier center on the slate, like him, Wendell Carter Jr. I think I honestly prefer Zubac. So I am pretty high on Zubac here. Norm Powell at 5.3. I'd like him quite a bit if James Harden is out. If James Harden's in, he's probably priced right. And then if the main three guys are healthy, I think they all look pretty good. I think Kawhi would be my favorite, but if one's more popular than the other, I'm just going to go the lower owned option. Paul George probably my least favorite, but I think Kawhi, not regarding ownership, is probably my favorite. I think all three look pretty good in this match going up against Atlanta. And then Man's playable. I don't know if I go to much else. Now, if Harden's out, that's going to change a lot. Bones Highland at 5K would still be a good option. Still be a very, very good option at that price point. Man would be solid at 4.5K. Norm Powell I'd like quite a bit. Zubac I already really like. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George would be two of the best mid-upper spend ups on the slate. I would love them. You'll see a bit more coffee, but I'm not going to go there. I believe PJ Tucker started the second half because his man got hurt. Couldn't pay me to play PJ Tucker in 2024. So, yeah, there's going to be a good amount to like here if you want to play for this late news. But this slate's it's going to be interesting. Definitely interesting because it's definitely a weird one. So, yeah, hope you guys had a good night tonight, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.